Morning, guys. Whew. Monday, I think it's September 26th. Got a little frost on the tarp this morning. We're, I think it's Lake Taylor. There's Cottonwood Pass we just came down from. We road hiked. We got off the ADT back at Winfield, road hiked to Buena Vista. And now we're road hiking to Crested Butte. There's a trail right here. Forget the name of it. It's where we're supposed to. We could get on it and take it to Crested, but it's getting late, and sometimes I've had a hard time following this thing. So I'm just gonna road hike. It's getting cold. I need to do some miles. I need to kind of go straight for a while instead of like woo. I don't know what's crookeder, guys. The ADT, the politicians, or a snake. It's like, oh my gosh, I've like done a full circle almost of Colorado, I think. So I picked up this. It's been cold. I picked up a $35 down sleeping bag off eBay. I should be waiting on me in Crested Butte. I checked the tracking on it. It's down. It's not this little 45 degree 45 degree number here. I was like, oh my gosh. But I've been okay with this jacket and zipping this thing up. I've been able, I didn't have to get in the bivvy last night. So, but I'm ready to find this thing a new home. I got 14 bucks in it, so I think we're just gonna let it go. It'll be more to ship the thing home than what I paid for it. But I was glad to find this old, I think it's pronounced Hollowbar, down, this is like an old base camp, Everest type, what they wore up around Everest base camp in the old days, like, I don't know, 70s. It's a 60-40, it's actually got a cotton blend and nylon. It's a real tight weave, so it's actually kind of water resistant. You wouldn't want to hike in the rain, but like snow and all would be fine. Like the same jacket, like for a puffy jacket like this would be very expensive nowadays, so I was glad to find. It's really been the difference of me being warm, you know. It's freezing right now, frost on the ground over here. I'm relatively comfortable. It is unfortunately very heavy. So my gear is a little different than when I started and then now. I didn't get a chance. I never did get my -15 back to me, so I just had to do what I had to do to get another bag. I had an ultralight jacket with the -15, and that kind of worked. The -15 weighed 4 pounds 4 ounces with an 8-ounce jacket. This thing probably weighs about 3 pounds, and I've got a 3.4 pound down bag. And I started with the tent, and now I also have a tarp and bivvy. The bivvy gives me a little warmth, so theoretically it makes the 15 degree about a 5 degree bag. You know. Oh, and I want to talk stoves real quick. So I'm rocking out a Super Cat right now. It's basically just a Fancy Feast cat food can with holes punched in it, staggered. Just go on YouTube and search Super Cat, a stove, or Fancy Feast stove. It'll come up. My Vargo, I was going to mail it in for warranty, but I just mailed it home with my old backpack, my 38 liter. I couldn't rock it out anymore, so I had to get more in like winter mode. There's no way I could pack out enough fuel, food, and I got really long stretches. When I leave Crested Butte, I got to go from Redstone. No, it's Crested Butte to Red. That's a long push, another long push. And so I bought a little extra food in Buena Vista because I don't know for sure if they have a real grocery store in Crested Butte. I know they got a gas station, and so we've had to just get geared up. Thankfully, I found this jacket and this backpack in Leadville. Now this is the original Gregory casting. This thing weighs like 5. They're saying it's a 70 liter pack. It weighs 4 3/4. The guy permanent marker that wrote it on the side. I think it's a little heavier than 4 3/4 myself. I want to probably check that at the post office. But it has these big pockets. Like I said, this is the original Gregory. I think it's called Cassin, C-A-S-S-I-N. So Colin Fletcher and the Complete Walker like give this thing rave reviews, and because of that, they sold a lot of these backpacks. It has a big brain on it. Gosh, I can fit my iPad in that brain, even my solar panel when I'm not using it. It's it like has the straps bolted to the frame, so it's a good winter pack. I had a winter pack. So anyways, a lot of you guys know that my ex-girlfriend from way back, my first walk across America, sold my gear, and I had a JanSport Expedition Rockies. Now I will say that I like the Gregory more for 40 bucks. It's a really good deal, you know. It's really a rare find, really. And so plenty of volume, very comfortable. It fits me. The frames are bent. Whoever had this was my height, you know, my build. And so now you have to be careful with the Super Cat. You want to make for sure it's on a level ground. My old Vargo had little legs and 3 little tripod type legs and stuck in the ground, made it a little more stable. It also had the same 3 up top for the pot. Sometimes the pot would kind of slide. It wouldn't tip over, but it would slide and it'd be like the leaning tire Pisa. You just straighten it back out. So, but I need a little bit wider pot for both these stoves because the flames on this come out the side, and the pot is like, you know, so a little wider pot would be more fuel efficient. But I had a $10 off coupon for that titanium pot from LL Bean, so that was kind of price kind of dictated the pot. Later on I'll probably upgrade to a wider pot and solve all that. You know, so we're looking forward to getting out of Colorado, like I say. I think once I get to Redstone, I just need to get west of the Rockies. I get into Utah, it'll be much warmer. Now, being in the desert, it will be cold at night, so we know this, but during the days, hopefully it'll be fairly mild, you know. We're taking the desert in the wintertime, which is a plus too. And that's kind of what's going on. We just, like I say, having to revamp our gear. That's been the main thing. No more 45-degree sleeping bag. Well, for a while I just had a fleece throw and a bivvy, and that was it. And that's no longer the case. I've really been pushing the limit. That's why I've also road hiking. I'm okay like last night, but if I got hit by a really bad freak storm right now, like I might be dead, like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean like some 10-degree and below temps, I could be in bad shape. So I need to get that 15-degree bag and just get the heck out of Colorado, because you just never know if winter's going to come early. And so, but the hike's going good. You know, I hate to get off the ADT turn by turns for a little bit, but I did say if I was running late in the game in Colorado, I would do so, just to get out of Colorado. And by no means are we out prissing and prancing down the highway with a little cart, you know, like, I don't know, being miles and miles from the ADT, like following it loosely. There wasn't no punk coming up Cottonwood Pass. It took me, I got outside of Buena Vista a few miles, camped, and I didn't crest the pass until after 4 o'clock yesterday. And so I was like, oh man, it was I climbed all day. Oh, I met some badasses. You know, I like to think of myself as a badass myself, but every now and then I got to shake a guy's hand. I'm like, wow, because they're in that league with me, maybe even a little more so. These guys had motorcycle suits on, the racing guys that race motorcycles, and they had these land yacht skateboards. I was like, dude, they were like, they were going down the mountain. I was like, oh, brother. And they scared me at first because they come around a curve and they just sneak up on you. They're like in stealth mode, and they're just cutting through the wind. And I met some of their buddies up top on the summit. And I chatted with them for a while. I was like, I used to skateboard. I tried that crap in San Francisco one time, the hills, and it ain't no joke, man, going down, because you just can't hardly stop. Now, they said that what they do is they just slide around the corners, those hairpin curves, and they'll also just air brake. I'm like, oh, okay. They just put their body out. So it was good talking to them. I was like, wow, you guys, they broke a few bones, of course, they told me some of them had. And, but yeah, I was like, wow, man. The other guys are crazy, you know. Those young 27-year-olds, you know, probably not something a 40-something-year-old guy, but I got to do that before I die, man. Come up here and buy one of the, get one of those skateboards and try that, because that looked really fun. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and close it down. I talked for a while, but I just wanted to, oh, speaking of stoves, out of all the stoves, I've used a Pepsi can. Mine was the penny stove. You put the penny on top, kind of pressurizes it. They're a little more flimsier, but they're really cheap to make. The cat food can, I think, is a little bit better because it's a little bit more durable, and for me, it's a little easier to make. All you need is a fancy feast can and a hole puncher. Get a lot, a little bit more. It's a little harder to make the Pepsi can stoves, or you could buy. I've also ran the Trangia. I thought the Trangia used a lot of fuel. It's brass. It's kind of heavy. It works. So, I've never used a Jet Bull or MSM or Pocket Rocket. Those are the canister stoves. Why? Out of 10,000 miles have I never? Because they're a little more expensive. Sometimes it can be hard to get the canister. For example, me and the Muley was hiking the PCT for a couple of weeks. We got to Squalamy. She couldn't get a canister. I said, hey, Muley, go in there and get some heat and just use my stove. And so, even if you have a Jet Bull, it's really not a bad idea just to have one of these right here in your cook kit. It weighs less than 1 ounce. And just for when you cannot get a canister, because you can generally always get heat, denatured alcohol, or even 91% rubbing alcohol in a pinch to use as fuel. On the AT, almost all your hostels sell fuel, denatured alcohol by the ounce. So you can generally always get it. That's why I like it. Hey, right now I have to carry more fuel in the wintertime because it's like half the BTUs of a canister stove, but it works for me. It's also cheap, When you hike and you like the super dirt bag, I'm like, wow, the king of hiking on the cheap. As somebody dubbed me. And I love that, and I use that now. Because I do hike on a budget, it does, tend to be the stove that wins out. And if I did another PCT or AT Thru-hike, I would probably actually have a canister stove if I could afford one, and use a combination of both, because a lot of times you'll find full canisters, half full canisters on the trail. And, that's free fuel. So, and it's just like a lot of times I found some fuel tabs in a hiker box on this Colorado trail. Now my old Triad XC was nice because you could use alcohol, or take the alcohol insert out and put a solid fuel tab in there, called Esbit, but they other names, they have Coggins or whatever has their brand, but most of the time you'll see the Esbit tab. So I'm rambling on now. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down and pack up. I'm gonna try to get about a 20-mile day in. I'm about somewhere right around 40 miles from Crested Butte. So we're gonna get to hiking. Peace out. God bless America, guys.